Hello again, beautiful people, and welcome back to the goodies. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the beautiful career mode series that we have underway here. This should be part 11, the beginning of. As always, we'll be rolling over a few episodes in this one. So we're going to dive straight into the good stuff with the Europa League, the bigger of the two European competitions, at least whilst Arsenal are in the Europa League, that is. Hopefully, we'll be in the Champions League again very, very soon. In real life, it's all but confirmed, with Arsenal being about 11 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur, who are, I think, currently sitting in third or fourth place, with Newcastle making a surprise entry into that at the moment. So that fourth place is very, very contentious again this season. I know Arsenal kind of threw it at the last in the season just gone, but this season we've flown out the traps and continue to operate at that same high speed. So we are sitting very comfortably at the top of the table, both in real life and in this beautiful, beautiful career mode series. Okay, so Europa League. So the first game we have here is PSV Eindhoven. So that is or was previously the home of the up and coming Cody Gakpo, the youngster left winger, but looks like he's going to be played potentially centrally. I think that's kind of where his strengths are. Very, very good on the ball. Very good striker of the ball as well. But obviously he has now moved to Liverpool Football Club. So he's no longer at PSV, but this was his home previously. So I think we lost the away leg to PSV, but other than that, we won every single game within this Europa League group in real life. So let's see if we can hopefully replicate that success. And then after we have this Europa League game, we then follow that up with Nottingham Forest in the league. So again, we'll skip the pre-match presser because nobody wants to see those. Unless you do, which if you do, just give me a shout. Okay, so as it is the Europa League, not something we're taking particularly seriously, but something we will be looking to go far in regardless, because European silverware is still silverware. What we're going to do here is just swap out all of our main stars and bring in those who are worthy of game time but are just simply been usurped by more talented players. So we're going to be bringing in a lot of reserves here. Squad depth, especially on the wings, is something that we lack very much in real life, and it's something we're lacking in the game here. But with the introduction of Liao, it does make life a bit easier. But Arsenal's situation currently is a struggle. They're having to start Martinelli and Saka against teams such as Oxford, simply because the depth just isn't there. We don't have that problem if we sign Mudryk in real life, which is looking very, very likely. Obviously, Mudryk's pushing for that move. He's desperate to come. But it's just the negotiation over the fee, because I understand Shakhtar are still asking quite a lot from us. So the potential's there, but we'll see if the price is right. So here we are at the Emirates. It's going to be the old classic and turn this trainer off. I need to remember to do that. Remind me, people. And we'll get straight back into it. So PSV Eindhoven, managed by Ruud van Nistelrooy, I believe, who, well, there's Cody Gakpo with an interesting ball, but will he make that? Yes, he will. So that's turned out to be a good ball. But Ruud van Nistelrooy, yeah, got a bit of history with Arsenal Football Club himself. That Man United Arsenal rivalry goes back a long way, when Ferguson and Wenger were the two managers to be trifled with. It was very much a two-horse race for a long time in the league, with Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger kind of regularly swapping places at the top there. Just endless amounts of managerial talent there, and just legends of the game that will be remembered forever in the mind of football fans for what they've brought to their clubs respectively. And Sir Alex Ferguson's a man that never really replaced properly by by Manchester United. Obviously, they brought in David Moyes to succeed Sir Alex Ferguson. That was always a bit of a poison chalice. Because Sir Alex Ferguson, he left at the perfect time. Really, it was an aging squad, and I think he saw that. I think he kind of got the best out of what he could with that squad, and kind of left it to the next poor lad to take over. And David Moyes was his successor that he named, but obviously did not have anywhere close to the success that Sir Alex Ferguson did. Moyes obviously still trying his best with West Ham. Poor strike from Vieira there. Done his best with West Ham, but it's not hitting the ground there either. And they can't argue about squad. It's the best West Ham squad they've had in a long time at that club. And fans are very optimistic with the players they have, but the performances have been poor and the results have been even worse. So I think he's very much on borrowed time at West Ham as well. So be interested to see how much longer that lasts. With managers like Pochettino and friends hanging around that job, sniffing about, looking to see if they can get their foot in the door. And I'm sure if somebody like Pochettino comes knocking, West Ham are going to buy at that and sack David Moyes and get him in. But that's definitely one to watch. I think David Moyes, he's had some tough jobs, but poor again from Vieira. Should be scoring that, but this one at West Ham is one that he should be grasping by the neck and taking control of, really. So you can understand the frustration. Okay, so relatively bright start here in this game. Vieira with a good couple of chances, but taking both of them very, very poorly, to be honest with you. This is where he's kind of in the best in those areas, when he's kind of playing that through ball rather than taking the final chance. So there's Emma Smith-Rowe, who does capitalise on his chance, sticks it right into the back of the net. Again, some of the game faces are very disconcerting, but as I say, there's been a good amount of focus on Arsenal. To be fair, they've put a good few in, so can't have them all, but I'm pretty sure Smith-Rowe is going to be one of those key players who does get their game face uploaded next year's FIFA game, you can call it that still. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to shine in the second half of the season. Now he's returned from his surgery and that's all gone successfully. So interestingly enough, he was talking about it and saying that it's an ongoing injury that he'd been suffering with for a long time, for years, and kind of been feeling like a very minor pain. And he said that it's good to kind of finally put that pain behind him and just focus on his football now. So that's very good news for Arsenal. Having our number 10 back, I think we kind of forget how much of an impact he's had at this club because of how long he's been out, and how well we're doing without him. But he's a very, very good player and an even more promising talent. So good ball in there. Martinelli, he's got to be doing better than that, to be honest. I think in real life, I kind of almost see Martinelli as making that conversion from left wing to centre forward. And I think we might see some of that with the omission of Gabriel Jesus, with him being out due to injury. I think we might rely on Martinelli to kind of fill that gap up top temporarily alongside Eddie Nketiah. That's a poor tackle on Nelson. I'll be interested to see what they do here. Just a yellow. And with the introduction of Mudryk, hopefully, it should free up Martinelli to have a bit more freedom in terms of where Arteta wants to trial him. So interesting to see. So also what we've learned here is that Fabio Vieira cannot shoot on this game. Really cannot shoot. That's a third decent chance he's had. They've all been awful. Odegaard in those roles, he'd probably have the hat-trick by now. Vieira needs to work on that, so that might be a development plan that we throw into the mix just to get him to where we need him to be, because at the moment it's really not clicking for him, is it? But as a team, we very much are clicking. Been very impressed with it so far. So it looks like they're kind of piling a bit of a press now. PSV, we played out that very, very well. Zinchenko driving through midfield, continues. Plays the ball forward to Nketiah, gets onto it, whips the ball in. Nelson heads it down to Smith-Rowe, takes a big looping touch, and it's stolen off him. All over them here, looking very, very dominant, very composed and controlled on the ball. It's been a very good start, excellent start. So you have to remember this is a team full of our kind of backup slash reserve players, and they're playing out of their socks, to be honest. So it's good to see that. I think who we'll need to bring in next is Ben White, and I think I'll just stick him on now because he's not going to be a starter for us. So it's good to get him some game time, and then we'll kind of leave that for now. If we do want to make any more subs towards the end of the game, we'll see, but I don't think those will be necessary. So it's just good to give these players the game time that they deserve and have assigned to them in their contracts. And that's how we'll kind of be playing these. So in these cup fixtures, we'll be using the reserve players, and in the league we'll kind of stick to the big guns until we get to the latter stages of the cup, of course, and then we'll, when a silverware on the line, we'll want to use our better players to make sure we get our hands on those trophies, because that is what the game is all about. It's all about glory. It's about winning, and we're looking very, very comfortable here, so I think a win is almost nailed on. So what I like very much about the way we're playing at the moment is the kind of formation we take up when we're on the ball. Poor tackle again, and the number of players we push forward when we're on the ball is very promising. It does leave us occasionally exposed, but I think the physicality of the players we have on the pitch help to lessen that impact. But we're very, very comfortable on the ball. It's something I'm very happy with. So Smith Rowe now driving the defence. Gives Zinchenko the chance to drive forward. Cuts back, knocks that into Smith Rowe. We'll have a long range effort off the crossbar. Followed up. Cannot get his head to it. What an effort that was from Emil Smith Rowe. Struck through the ball wonderfully. So yeah, there's our next fixture. Nottingham Forest at home, so that should be a bit of a demolishing. Of course, Nottingham Forest had made a kind of record number of transfers and signings in the transfer window. It was absurd the amount of players they brought in, and they've very much struggled to transition those players comfortably so far. I think they're nearly at the bottom of the table, if not rock bottom. And that's to be expected with the kind of absurd amount of signings they've made. Would not be good for them to go back down after spending that kind of money. Kind of similar to the attempt that Fulham made, where they came up, spent an absurd amount of money, didn't click, and just went straight back down. But Fulham are back with us now, so that's kind of, in the long run, that's paid off. But yeah, these teams are all operating very differently to Norwich, and I think that's why Norwich have always struggled to compete there, really. So they do well enough to get themselves out of the Championship, but in order to stay in this league, you need to bring in the players that are required. You need to have that next level of quality once you come out of the Championship into the Premier League. And Norwich were not willing to spend the money on doing that, so that's why they always struggled. There's a good strike there from Martinelli, saved and held by the keeper. So we've just struggled to get that final touch, get that second goal to secure the win. But the overall performance has been very good, and something I'm very impressed with. So Ndicka's been solid back there. But most impressive, as always, Thomas Partey. Very good performance from him. Trying to find a player like him to come in and take up the reins when he goes, that's going to be a difficult task. I think indeed he was probably one of the better suitors to that. I think he's a bit too highly rated on this game for how he is in real life, if I'm being honest with you. He's nowhere near the kind of credit they give him. He's been quite mistake prone. I think he's been asked to play a very mixed role at Leicester, though, to be fair. Asked to cover positions in midfield and centre back. It's difficult for him to find that fixed role, but I don't think he has the passing range required to play in that passing role in real life. But they seemed to like him on this game, so he would have been a good addition, but we couldn't get hold of him after we upset the manager with a cheeky little bid. So we go 3 points. Very good start to the Europa League campaign. If we can bring that European trophy home, it would be Arsenal's first, so it would be a big achievement for us. and that's something we want to put a little bit of focus on. I think the majority of the focus is on the league, but as I say, that European silverware would mean leaps and bounds to the fans. So we will certainly endeavour to bring that home for them. Okay, so next up, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest.